Hello and welcome to Recovery for Life. I'm Chris Howard, peer counselor at Midtown Health Wellness in New York City, and host of this weekly podcast where we discuss addictions and recovery and anything else that comes to mind. Peer, of course, meaning equal, meaning we're all on a level playing field, which means I'm in recovery myself. As of this past January, I've got 10 years clean and sober. I should note that it took me 18 years to get here. Relapse isn't required, but certainly isn't uncommon. Before we get going, it's important to mention that I am not a doctor and we are not here to dispense medical advice. We also don't advocate any particular course of treatment. Please speak with your physician regarding issues related to your specific medication or treatment plan. If you don't have a program and would like to discuss options, you can find Midtown Health and Wellness at nyc-doctor.com. The series of podcasts is essentially our group discussions on tape. The 5 others joining me are all part of the Suboxone program at Midtown Health. So one of our recurring topics will be everyone's personal feelings about medication-assisted recovery. The focus will not be so much on our past, our addictions, but how we're navigating our individual paths toward physical and emotional health. Putting down the substance is just the beginning. What happens next is recovery. I'm going to virtually pass the mic now, give everyone a few minutes to check in, and then we will dive in. And who wants to be first? Frankie, you're up.
Yeah, I'll go first. Hey, y'all, Frankie here. I missed you guys over the last few weeks. I haven't seen you. Good to hear everybody's voice, see everybody's face. Just checking in here. Been with Midtown Health and Wellness for, I guess, just coming up on 5 years, which is great. Feel great. It's been a busy month for me at work. We are kind of getting the joint back on its feet for another opening, which will be our kind of third opening in 9 months. So it's a lot of work. It's a grind. It's staffing and programming and all that jazz, but it's going well. The home life, which is the easiest part of my life. My wife is good. Everything's good. I want to knock on wood because I feel like I'm going to jinx it and the shoe is going to drop, but things are good over in my world right now. And I'm going to leave it there. I feel, good. The only thing is I would love to lose like a little tummy weight. I've been having some body issues shopping the other day and I couldn't get in a shirt. So I'm feeling kind of gross about myself, but happy about everything else. So that's it for now. I'm going to pass the mic.
Well, thanks, man. And there's no shoe. Don't worry. There's no shoe out there waiting to drop.
No. And if there is, I'm going to catch that bastard.
That's right. Or just kick it out of the way.
Yeah.
Hey, Amy, you want to go? Want to go next?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Amy, and I've been with Midtown Health and Wellness for about 3 years now. And, I've had a rough year, but I'm trying to stay positive and just pray about it and start getting out of this darn house. So, yeah.
Sounds good. Benny, you are up.
What's up, Benny? I'm doing pretty good. It's kind of my first week really sober, like really back on the horse, kind of. I don't know, Frankie, if you were abreast of this while you were away, but I did have like a relapse, mostly just with kratom. So, but it felt like shit. Still, mostly just mentally, I lost a lot of, just lost almost everything I had gained as far as like how to keep myself sane and balanced. At least it felt that way. It felt pretty extreme mentally. And coming back now, I'm like, I've kind of replaced it with running and getting a little bit obsessive about that, and I'm struggling to kind of figure out what to do with my time. It's just like a lot of open, sober time, a lot of emotions coming up. And it feels really good to be back in this group and hear people and talk to people already. I feel like more like myself. So that's a clue that I've probably been spending a little bit too much time alone if I've been feeling crazy. That's me.
Thank you very much. Audrey, you're up.
Hi, it's Audrey. I've been at Midtown Health and Wellness for over 2 years, maybe 3 years. I'm like literally just trying to look at my emails to see when my first email from them was, and it was like over 2 years ago. So I don't know, something like that. But I don't know. Lately, I've been like pretty good. I always feel better when I'm at this meeting, so I have to think about my week so far. I just feel like lately, the past few months, even, I've just been feeling really lazy, and like I do get stuck in this space where I go to work, I come home, I eat dinner, go upstairs, watch TV, fall asleep, then feel like I'm just like doing it over and over and over again. And I also am having body image issues. I mean, I've been having issues with like how I look and my weight for a very long time. I remember in middle school, I would like cry to my mom because I'm like, why am I so fat? And yeah, I do have some like body dysmorphia issues, and some of it gets triggered by like stuff that family says, and the fact that everyone in my family is an athlete, like most of them are athletes. So I don't know. It's just hard for me to like get up and go and work out. I think I'm going to sign up for some classes today because like that's the easiest way for me to do something, is to like pay for it and do it with people and like go somewhere else, not just like do it in my basement or like go for a walk or something. I don't know. So yeah, I'm like good overall, but there's a lot of things that I still need to work on, which is like my physical health. And I know I like am having body image issues, but really I should I want to work out for my health and not, to change my body in any way. So that's how I'm feeling currently.
Good idea. I like you said it for a class. There's a little bit of accountability there, right? You kind of feel obligated to show up, especially after you meet a few people and then, they kind of expect you. Anyway, John, you are up.
Hello, this is John. I've been with Midtown Health and Wellness for over 3 years. I am in the Suboxone program, and I am on a 2-year regimen of that, and it's actually coming to an end in August. August 3rd will be my last Suboxone shot. I've been doing some planning with everybody at Midtown Health and Wellness, and I will be continuing everything as I currently am, even after the shot, like groups, all that. Just I won't have the shot, and I will see how that goes. I will, have a plan to document, how I'm feeling mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and all that as the months progress. And yeah, I feel really confident about getting off of it. I'm looking forward to getting off of it. And yeah, this week it was a busy week. I signed up for a tutor. I did not. People who have been following the podcast, in the earlier episodes, I was talking about trying to pass this exam. It's for my job. It's to get certified for FINRA compliance reasons, and I failed it. And I got it. Luckily, I got a second chance at it, and my wife, just coming out of the tail end of the feeling of all the joy of getting married, and now kind of shifting back into work and all that. It's been somewhat tough, but anyway, my wife found a really good tutor for me to help me study for this exam, and he's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I'm already seeing improvements in my practice exams. I'm getting, scoring 60 to 70, maybe if I'm lucky, sometimes lower. And now I'm up to like 90 to 100 and I'm doing it very quickly. It's actually really impressive. So yeah, really looking forward to actually passing the exam. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I've just been, I've been really well. I did get my second to last Sublocade shot this week. And that went well. And, speaking of, I guess, body image stuff, I put on about 15, 20 pounds since starting Sublocade. And I kind of made the excuse of like, I was really not healthy. Like I was like really severely underweight, and the weight I gained, it's all in my stomach. And like, luckily it's in my stomach because that's where I get the injection. And the whole intent was like, well, if I gain a couple pounds, in my stomach, maybe it'll make the shot easier to get. Cause in the beginning it was super painful, but we came up with this process where they hit me with lidocaine and then inject the shot, which numbs it. And, I don't really feel it at all. But, yeah, I'm like, I weighed myself the other day. I'm only 5'7". I'm like 165 pounds. So I would like to lose 10 pounds when I come off the shot, which is where my identical twin brother is at. He's about 155 pounds. So yeah, I mean, I needed to get out of the house more. I mean, the pandemic really put me in this funk of not doing anything and just working from, physically not doing anything. I swivel from one desk to the other, from doing work then my personal computer. So it's, not the healthiest routine, but anyway, I digress. I'm doing really great. And that's my check-in. Thanks.
Thanks. I think if you do enough swiveling and you do it really, really quickly, you can work those abs. I'm doing okay too. It's another week. It's another day. I really am living a day at a time these days because I have a lot going on too. And there's a lot to go into, which I won't. But it's great to be here. I'm glad everybody is here tonight. We have the full crew, the whole gang. And Amy is pointing that her computer is working now, so she's going to come in on a different system. We can say anything we want. We were talking earlier about all kinds of things, Pokemon and things from the 80s and 90s and 2000s and whatever it was. But really, it came up because of something that Benny brought up about balance and what happens when we get sober and the things that we dive into. He was mentioning running, and then all kinds of things came up from that, because including transference of addictions to other things like who knows what, shopping and running, which I did too. So since we started with that, I'm just going to throw it to Benny to just dive back into that to start us off. How about it?
Okay. Yeah, I to maybe get like a clearer picture of to give you a clearer picture of what I've been going through. I just feel like there are three things that are kind of happening in my life right now that I feel like I haven't found like a balance with. One is an anonymous Twitter presence. I just decided that at some point, like in the past month, that I was just going to make a bunch of anonymous Twitter accounts and start trying to be funny. And it really has worked. And I've been having a lot of fun doing it, but it's also definitely an addiction. And I'm not used to really like living on the internet. And I've never had like video game addictions or anything like that. So it's new for me. Yeah, I mean, it's like really, I kind of am, I mean, now I'm like, my screen time has like tripled or quadrupled, and I really feel it. I even see it making changes in my face and stuff. And then the other thing is actually through Twitter, I connected with a person who I went to college with, but didn't really know very well in college. And we've kind of like, we just like really clicked on Twitter, and she's the poet. And we've now started like dating, basically long distance. And that is bringing up like a crazy amount of like kind of longing for this person. That has also been hard to manage and has been kind of overwhelming. Balancing that also with like rebounding from a relapse, and like maybe needing a little extra affection, and like how do I give that to myself, and not like I it's like there's a lot that I want from her that I can't ask for and I couldn't even get if I did, and I don't know. And then there's running, and that's been a great outlet. And like right now it's where I'm most present. And if I'm feeling really, really crazy and like a lot of longing and like crazy from Twitter, and like I go out running, it's like all of a sudden I'm back in this like non-space where my mind isn't really anywhere exactly. And I can just think about my body, and that's like a huge relief. Just a different level of like presentness. But it makes me just want to do it all the time. And now I'm wasting time. I'm not doing anything, but I don't know. I'm not doing anything productive. So I don't know. I'm curious about people's experience finding balance and recovery, and maybe, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I can really relate to that, Benny, because I have a lot of addictive habits that I have, cigarettes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this past week, I decided no more smoking in the house. And do you know how hard that's been? It's been so hard. And so like I've been trying to go outside, but like we're doing these, I'm gonna do one at least, but I'm way back here in my office, but still I can really relate to where you're coming from, and then the COVID I got a lot of 20 or 30 pounds on me, and my mother-in-law, got us an exercise bike, and now I'm just like addicted. My legs are I'm about to ride them off. They're so sore at night, and I didn't know that I had such an addictive person. I was such an addict, period. It wasn't just the pills. It's a lot of things, but I can totally relate.
In the first year, if I can jump in, that I got sober,
Yes.
I had a gym in my building, and I was living by myself because I quit my job. I moved out of the apartment that I was in. I just moved into another space, and I went to the gym twice a day, 6.5 days a week, probably for a year and a half. And it monopolized so much time. And I was replacing, I don't know if I was replacing one addiction with another, but it definitely kept my mind busy. And I think that's what my mind needed. When I'm by myself, and I don't know how anyone else is, but when I'm by myself and, my early years of sobriety, my mind would spiral out of control and create narratives that were far from true. And I would create stories in my head. But I think that, the treadmill, and then lifting weights, and then, boxing class, and going downstairs and just running on the treadmill, it just kept my mind busy. And I'm thinking back on it, I think I was replacing one addiction with another, it seems like.
Maybe that's what you needed to get through the first part of your,
maybe
you're coming off of in recovery.
I mean, I'll take the treadmill over a bundle of heroin any day.
Shoot, yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot, yeah. But yeah, that's what happened to me. But it's still happening is the thing. It's like I'm just a total addict. Just I could get addicted to just anything. Like, it's crazy.
You know what? One of the other things that I was listening to, and I to the running thing too, and I threw in, to balance my running, I threw in a pint of Haagen-Dazs every single day. So I had to do that too when I got into recovery. That was part of my plan. But the other thing, when Benny was talking, it came up, and I realized that somebody had asked me a while back if when you get off the drugs, can you get addicted to a person? Because this was, whoever this had become obsessed with another human being, and that is the same thing. I don't think it's really that different. That can happen too, like Twitter or whatever. I mean, we'll find something. We'll find something, right? I mean, we're going to find something
every time. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
you.
Go, you please.
Yes, you can absolutely get addicted to a person because it's happened to me, and it's a couple times, to be honest, after my first husband died. And got addicted to a dating site because all these guys would tell me how beautiful and wonderful I was. And it just, it just, I guess, fed my ego or something and made me more confident because I'm a very low confident person. I don't have much self-confidence. So, yes, you can absolutely get addicted to a person.
Well, I think you have this love of drugs, right? And you get rid of that love. You have this breakup with addiction. So you're finding something else to love. And I think that's what it is. You're like, I love this, whether it be heroin or coke, whatever the drug may be. But, some people just want to love and,
boom, right there.
So that, the addiction to relationship or to partnership or whatever that is, just that feeling of, takes the place, sort of. Maybe.
Yeah.
Because it's euphoric. It's like, I'm sorry, John. It's euphoric. It can make you feel high,
Yeah. I was going to say the same thing, Amy. Sorry. I actually feel lucky in a sense that, coming up on 2 years clean, my sober time's been with my wife. And my wife, right? Like, and I love her to death. She's my best friend. And, I was thinking about like, what transfer of addictions did I encounter? Because I do have an addictive personality, and for me, it was just distracting myself with coding. I would, cause like I feel like I'm always looking for this affinity for something like I need to gravitate towards something and love it and get so engrossed in it where I don't know, it just completely distracts me from life. And that happened to be coding for me. And I do it for a job now, but, I kind of had to find like this balance where, I had to say, all right, well, I'm doing it for work now. In the beginning, it was just for fun. Now it's work. And I need to like, in my mind, tell myself, well, that was, okay, it's 5:30, 6 o'clock. That's it. It's my day's done. I'm done coding. Time to shut that part of my brain off and, go do something else, spend time with my wife, go for a walk, whatever. But it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. And, I still vape. I wish that was an addiction that kind of followed me. It just continues to follow me as I did quit for 6 years. But I ended up in detox and ended up smoking again back in 2018. And it kind of started from there again. But yeah, now I want to quit. I want to quit smoking. But I'm like, all right, I'll do it next month. When is it going to be time? I think it's like with anything else, I just need to learn the hard way. Something bad's going to happen. Like, so my teeth will fall out or who knows, That's going to be the time where I decide to stop. But hopefully, it doesn't get to that point. And
That's me, John. I'm the same way.
yeah,
I learned the hard way. It's like,
yeah, I did the same way. I'm a stubborn Italian. I learned the hard way. I'm Calabrese. I just don't understand like why I'm this way, but I'm this way, and I have to learn the hard way. And but if I do need to learn, right? Like, and once I've made that mistake, I can say, all right, well, I'm not going to do that again. I've already done that, So, but anyway, that was my 2 cents on the matter.
If this was easy, we wouldn't be here having this conversation. This whole thing is very, very difficult. I think the whole part, and a big part of it, is just trying to find something out there that makes us better, that makes us whole somehow. Something out there in the world, whether it's a person or a drug or a drink or whatever it happens to be, or Twitter. It doesn't really matter. It's somehow, the recovery part is trying to find that inside, right? Trying to find that inside ourselves instead of outside. That's to me is the whole process of this, is finding that on the inside.
I think it's interesting. Like, I don't know, Frankie mentioned something about how we were talking about being addicted to loving another person, and then wanting to kind of fill that void with something or someone. And I'm losing my train of thought, but I was going somewhere with this, I promise. I think that Frankie was mentioning something about how the drugs, we use drugs to like cope with our feelings, and after we lose the drugs, we need something else to jump to. Or not even like cope with our feelings, just kind of, we need, at least the way I see it is, I use drugs to, I guess, cope with feelings, but also kind of rewire my brain into thinking in a different way. So once we don't have that, we're left to find something else. But even before the drugs, like, I had to find something to put my mind towards, and they were just more productive things, like artwork, or I don't know, playing Wikipedia games, like where you try to find one word in one article and then click to the other article. I don't know, just like learning, being really into books and having aspirations. But then I don't know, I started doing drugs, and after that, when I got sober, I don't think I had any like straight up transfers. Like, I didn't start doing something all the time every day, but I do have parts of me that I could see are like addictive tendencies. Like, one of them is shopping, because I do get this dopamine rush when I am shopping for things, and I like get really into it. Online shopping, I open a bunch of tabs and I find the best things that I like, and I read all the reviews. And I put a bunch of stuff in my cart, then I narrow it down. I could be online shopping for like hours. And I just like, and someone mentioned earlier how, you just want something to occupy your brain with, so you don't really have to be alone with your thoughts. And that's something that I really struggle with. I also mentioned in an earlier group that I struggle with meditation, because you just have to learn how to be one with your thoughts and your surroundings, and maybe not have nothing in your brain, but just be at an even keel. And I think a lot of addicts just chase that feeling of dopamine, because our brains aren't wired, quote unquote, correctly. They're just wired differently. And yeah, I think another thing that I also struggle with is picking at my skin. So that's like a straight up addiction. It's called dermatillomania. And it got really bad when I was using. And even after I was using, I picked up my skin a lot, so much that in one night I picked up my skin for like 5 hours straight. I went to the hospital. They gave me Benadryl and they made me leave, but I went to the dermatologist and he was like, you would have had to be on IV drugs if this got even more infected. Like my whole face was swollen. It started because I would look at my face, start like popping. I apologize, trigger warning if anyone is opposed to like pimple popping or anything gross, but I would like start popping a pimple, and then I would realize that like stuff was inside of my skin, so I just like wanted to get everything out of my skin. And a lot of women actually struggle with this, like looking in the mirror and picking apart all your acne and your blackheads and just wanting to get it out. So that really was an addiction of mine. And I did go to rehab for the skin picking when it got really bad. And I still struggle with it a little bit today, but it's not nearly as bad as it was. I think the whole thing is like I'm chasing an extreme feeling, like just wanting to be extremely like just throw myself into a certain thing at 100,000% and not give up. Like, I don't know. It's weird. But I think I just struggle with being at like an even level of energy, or like just being, again, in simple terms, like alone with my thoughts. I think I struggle with that. So I want to like put my thoughts into other things and distract myself. But I don't know. I could definitely be asserting my interests in different ways. Like I want to get into exercising, so maybe I'll try that. Who knows? But that's all I have for now.
Seems like when you said, being alone with your thoughts, everyone shook their head. So like it's that's what it is for all of us. Like I'm so on the level with you, Audrey. Like my mind needs to be busy. And, when I was using, that's what kept my mind rolling. It was getting it, having it, using it, getting it, having it, using it, sleeping. Getting it, having it, like my mind was always cranking the phone. It's like I was always so busy. Take that away and you need to fill that void. Like everyone shook their heads at that. Everyone was like, yes. So, it's work for me now that keeps my mind busy. But you're so right though. We're not wired like everyone else. Our wiring is different. And it's weird.
And I wish more people could hear this.
Yeah, I wish I could find a better word for it than weird, but we're wired differently.
Yeah, because we're not weird, but
we're not weird. We're not weird.
Yeah, I was going to say that we're not weird.
we're different.
We're not weird.
We're different.
Specific type of person.
Yeah, we're unique. But it's weird. We're not weird. It's weird. But yeah, we're unique, and if we can solve this mystery.
Yeah, I mean, they even have like brain scans of people with depression, anxiety, and their brain waves look different. So it's really just like, okay, for me, it helps to just accept that fact that I'm wired differently and I need to learn different ways maybe than other people to do things, or get extra help, like going to these meetings and having therapy and counseling. But yeah, I think lately I've been more okay with myself. Like haven't been so, like I'm learning a little bit more to be okay with having a normal day and not being so high or so low, which is good.
Yeah. I related to everything that everyone said. For me, like, I don't know, it wasn't so much of chasing away thoughts. It was just more to just numb myself so I didn't have them. I just didn't want to feel at all. I didn't want to think. I just wanted to disconnect completely from the world. And that was drugs for me, right? I was using opiates. So I'd just, nod out or whatever and repeat, rinse and repeat like Frankie was saying. But I don't know. I was thinking about what Benny said. I do try to be a better version of myself every day. And one bad habit that I thought of, I continue to do is I'm addicted to memes. So like, like you, Benny, I'll be on whatever it is, Instagram or Twitter, just scrolling through memes and clicking on them, looking at the comments, and there's more memes. It's just like a rabbit hole. And it like you said, Audrey, it produces this serotonin, like I'll laugh at it or whatever. It gets some kind of reaction out of me where I'm just completely just disconnected from everything. And so engrossed in looking at the memes, like I can't explain it. Like hopefully one day I come across one of Benny's tweets. Maybe that would be an interesting find, but I don't know. It's really tough to just, I don't know. Like it's not, I don't know. Is it a bad habit? I don't know. I could be doing more constructive things with my time. I mean, I would say it's not affecting.
It could be worse.
Yeah, exactly. It could be worse, but I could be, getting a bike and doing some exercise or something, because that does help prepare the brain and develop new neural pathways for whatever we were talking about, whatever our circuitries, not like other people's, right? It's different as an addict. And I think, it's fine to acknowledge that. And I think the scariest place for me to be is in my own thoughts. But as I grow stronger in my recovery and addiction, I'm letting myself be more vulnerable to these times where I am alone with my thoughts, and if something does come up, I talk about it with, my wife or whoever I need to talk about it with. I just got to get it out. If I bottle it up, it just bottles up, and that's what's gonna, that's for me a key indicator to me relapsing. So, it's like a warning sign, so to speak. But anyway, just wanted to throw that out there.
It's interesting to say, like, it could be worse, and it could always be worse. It just made me think of, how do I feel about when I do something like that? How do I feel about me? Not really, am I doing something harmful? But if I get on Instagram, which I do sometimes too, and just start scrolling mindlessly, and I go, what the hell am I doing? Why am I doing this? There are things I could be doing. For me, sometimes it's crossword puzzles. I'll do 3 or 4 a day on the computer, because that's like, it's absolutely mindless. I don't think about it, but I'm not doing that's not productive. That's like the creative avoidance that I love to talk about. It's like it feels productive, but it's really not, because I'm not doing anything that's going to bring any value to my life. I'm just killing time. And, but sometimes I have to do that. Sometimes I have to just kill some time, because I just cannot be productive all day long, every day. I can't fit go out and run, and then go to the gym, and then go to work, and then, I have other things to do in the evening. It's like, I cut myself a little bit of slack here and there too. It's hard.
Yeah, I think
I feel guilty.
As long as there's like variety in your life, then, and you're not just, I don't know, doing something so hard that, not hard, but like going in, I'm trying not to use like, if you're not going at 1,000% at something all the time for most of your day, like as long as you just put your thoughts and your actions into different things, like different activities. And I don't really do that still. I need to work on that. But I think it's fine to look for distractions and it's fine to doom scroll on Instagram for a little bit, but as long as it's not like all consuming and it's making you feel really awful. And then Chris, you mentioned the guilt, which is something that I experience, like, especially after like spending $100 online shopping. It's like the cycle of like, okay, I feel great, this is fun, and then guilt hits in, and then you like kind of get addicted to the feeling of guilt. Because maybe it's just a space that
It's familiar.
it's like familiar. So, yeah, and it happened with the picking too. Like, I would feel immense shame after picking at my skin because it would like take a long time to heal, and it was just like one of the worst feelings. Was like feeling like, oh my God, I just like ruined myself, and I just wasted so much time like doing this. I don't know. And then I guess there's guilt for other things, like the lack of doing things for me.
Yeah, I can definitely feel you on that because, like, I can get guilty over not doing the dishes. I mean, I I hate guilt, but then I feel it so much, like you said. So I think it's like a familiar for us addicts to feel shame and guilt and all that. So we just go back to that familiarity instead of changing our thoughts process and our perspective to where it's more of a positive. Instead of feeling guilty, well, I'll do better next time. It's all right. I needed that stuff and, or whatever,
Or I'll do that tomorrow. Oh, I'll get to it tomorrow.
That one too.
Talking about this body thing, like I keep saying, I've been saying it for weeks. I think I told Chris, like, I'm going to start to hit the gym. I know how good I feel when I hit the gym. I'm going to start to hit the gym. Tomorrow I'll hit the gym. Tomorrow I'll hit the gym. Okay. Yeah. Tomorrow I'll hit the gym. And I just keep, and I feel so guilty. And then I feel like shit the next day because I'm like, I should have done that. Well, I'll just do it tomorrow. So I get it. I dig it. I really do. And I think I'm going to hit the gym tomorrow.
I love it.
It really is, like you said, Amy. We have to change the way we think. That's just all there is to it, and that's part of recovery too. And that takes a long time for some of us.
Years.
It could take a really, really long time. Yeah, it's taken me years and years to get to a place where I don't put myself down all day long. I mean, that was one thing I did too. Was the self-deprecation, and people had to tell me to stop doing that because I believed it. Of course, I believed it, and that was a whole mindset that had to be changed. That was me. That was my thinking that had to be changed, and that was all part of recovery. It took me years.
I'm going through that now, Chris. Big time.
It's tough, and like Benny said, balance is, I think, the magic word here. We don't have to go fully in one direction or the other, but there's somewhere in there. Go ahead, Benny.
Yeah, just a little thing. Like, I just was thinking about how I've noticed in recovery that like the thing that really changes my thinking usually isn't more thinking. It's usually actually like changing my behavior or like acting in different ways that like down the road starts to change my thinking. So like, I don't know. Yeah, I definitely, I don't know what Audrey said about just the word variety is like enough. I don't know. It's like something I'm going to take home with me. And also what John was saying, like John said, like 5:30, like I'm done with coding. I was interested in that because it's like, this is something that maybe could be an addiction for you, but it's like you also are getting something out of it. And a lot of addictions, I think, do have that like ambivalent status of like, I'm still getting some kind of reward from this, but it's like, it's my thinking that's kind of ruining it for me. And yeah, I'm just thinking about like how I can I allot 20 minutes a day, or like how much a day can I allot to this thing before I get to a point where I'm feeling self-destructive or like I'm starting to feel that void of low confidence and high expectation of reward, and then no reward, and just like the things that start the spiraling mentally. It's like, can I just curb that with just different actions, and just like more variety? Yeah.
Well, you're right. We can't think our way out of any of this stuff, can we? We have to do this, talk about it, take actions, change our behaviors. You're absolutely right. It's the only way to do it. We can't sit and think about this and say, okay, here's what I'm going to do to change, right? I'm going to think my way out of this thing. That does not work.
Yeah, I just wanted to say something like, I had this realization, not too long ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, where I can actually acknowledge all the progress that I made and say, I finally feel proud of myself for doing what I'm doing. And I think, that is a big accomplishment for me to be able to say that. I never would have thought I would be able to do that. And here I am, where I can say, like, I can go back and be like, I've made so much progress. Look at where I am now. Like, I'm legitimately proud of myself, and I don't need external validation for it, and it was through the, changing my actions, being dedicated to my recovery, showing up for myself, right. And participating in the community. I mean, that's a huge part of it for me too. So yeah, it is actions. It's putting, just doing it, just doing it. It's one thing to think it, but it's another thing to do it. And then after you've done it, especially something that's beneficial to you or for myself, where I can reflect on it later. I wouldn't be able to do that in addiction, but now I can reflect on it and be like, wow, I've made a lot of progress. That's amazing. And don't get me wrong, some external validation is nice to hear, but I don't know, being able to do that on my own is pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely, John. About the external validation, I've needed that, I thought that's what I needed for so many years, and come to find out I need to validate my own self and realize really how far I have come, like you said, because we've come a long way. So, I mean, I can say that for 100%. I am a totally different person than I was, say, even 3 years ago, but especially 9, 10 years ago, So I'm trying to learn to validate myself and not want for that external validation.
I think that every one of us can not just can say that we've made progress and we're proud of ourselves, but we should say it. We need to say that. We need to be able to say that to ourselves. It's, that's what this is all about. I mean, we need to be okay with us. If I'm not okay with me, I'm going for the drugs and the drink. I got news for you. That's where it's going to take me. And that's why every day I have to keep working on being okay with who I am right now, today. I don't know about tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I do wake up feeling like I'm, the worst piece of what in the world. That happens all the time. But I don't believe it anymore, at least not for very long. I might believe it for a couple of minutes. And then I got to get out of that, man, because, we're all really good people here. There's nothing wrong with us. We are not bad. We're not terrible people. We have a lot to be proud of. All of us have done a lot in our lives. Recovery is, part of that, but becoming better people, improving who we are and benefiting the people around us. I mean, that's huge. That's really huge. And everything you guys do here and in your lives, and I know all of you, and you are very generous with others, and you do care for other people and yourselves. And it's just, this is a process that we all go through to be okay with us. And some of us, it takes a long time to get to that. I mean, I've been working on it for a long time, and I still have a lot of work to do, a lot, because I don't have that confidence still.
I don't think we ever finish the work, do we?
No, No, this is a lifetime of growth and, pursuit of, I don't know. There's no finish line. So there's no like goal for this, right? There's no ultimate goal. We just keep getting better. We keep growing. We keep doing what we can to, help others be better people, be part of the community. And that's, what else is there, right? I don't know. What else have we got? I think,
I just want to create good memories. I don't know. Most of my life, it's been crap. Really, like,
Amen, brother.
like I just want to, live a happy life. That's all it is. I just want to be me and live a happy life. I don't know. That's what it boils down to for me. And I don't know. What about you guys?
that's a daily choice. We have to make that decision every single day to keep that going. Because I don't know about you guys, but I could fall off the radar any minute if I'm not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've done it too many times.
And listening to that bad, putting yourself down talk.
Yeah.
Like I was telling Chris, last week, I've talked to myself so bad this past week. I would not let anyone talk to me like that, or I wouldn't let anyone talk to someone I loved the way my brain was talking, my inner voice spoke to me last week. It was just terrible. Yeah. So
That's such a good point, Amy. Like, treat yourself the way you, that's such a good point, right? Like, I've never even thought about it that way, but like, I should treat myself good, right? And I don't know, like, how would I treat other people? How would I want to be treated, right? Like,
yeah, like you wouldn't talk to like somebody else, like, the way you're thinking, oh, I'm just, this or that, and I'm just a loser, and I didn't pass the test, so I suck.
mhm.
That's me. So I was just kind of saying, you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
No, you would never say those things to someone else. So why would we look in the mirror and say that to us? Say it to ourselves. Just that's part of who we are. I think that's part of that chemistry that we've all been talking about, how we're wired. Comes with the territory.
DNA is wild, isn't it?
That's but it gets compounded, right? When we get into the addictions and then we feel guilty, and then this whole cycle starts, right? And I know it did for me. I'd feel like shit, so then I'd use more, right, to try to make myself feel better. But that didn't work. Of course, it didn't work. It just made me feel worse. So then I'd just keep going, right? And that, that cycle only lasted for 30 or 40 years before I was able to, figure a way out. Not figure a way out, but walk into a room of, well, what I did was AA and put my hand up and say, help. I can't do this anymore. Somebody help me. And it's really hard to break that cycle. And I know everybody says the same thing. We all get into that, over and over and over, just what Frankie was talking about before. We do the same thing over and over, and there's never going to be a different result, is there? It's always going to be the same outcomes.
No, it's routine. But how do you create another routine without it becoming an addiction?
That's boom right there.
Like how can, that routine that we did was in the deepest of addiction. How do you create another routine for, a personality like my own or us that's so addictive that doesn't become an addiction? That's a question that we have to ask ourselves. And if anyone's got that answer, I am got a pencil and ready to write it down.
Got me. I don't have an answer. How do we develop healthy habits?
Right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Damn it, man.
There it is, man. That's money.
Yeah, without going overboard. Healthy habits without
Healthy
going
habit.
crazy.
Double H.
I wish they'd give us all like a life coach to be daily. You could just bounce off them.
I think we've been talking about it. We have to keep taking the actions over and over again, the healthy ones, and that becomes that becomes the norm then, the healthy actions, the healthy habits, the healthy behaviors, that becomes, what we fall back on instead of the unhealthy ones, or even the unhealthy thoughts, honestly. Right.
Well, I guess it would be actions that lead to good outcomes where you feel good about it afterwards, right? As opposed to self-deprecating yourself with drugs. I mean, I mean, but it's. I know that's the answer, but it's so hard to do, right? There's no like easy way to do that. Figure out this is going to lead to my happiest moment ever, whatever, right? I don't know. It's very difficult.
For Benny.
Just a thought on that. Like, I just feel like I tend to ruin good things. Like, I feel like I think that's like a big part of like my addictive brain, is that like once something's good, I'm like, this good thing is going to do this good thing for me and make me good. And like, as soon as I start thinking like that, it's just dead. Like, I've ruined it. And it's like, so I've been thinking a lot about just like time constraints, and like if I'm doing something new, if I'm doing like a new routine that I think could do something good for me, it's not going to be me deciding when to stop. It's like, I need to put this like authority on it, like 2 hours and then I'm done, or like way less, maybe even, is all I need. But like, I think that keeps the door open for something good to have happened, that like maybe I didn't even notice it when it was happening, but I had to stop and I had to just leave it. And I had to just, it's just like giving away that power that can be so destructive.
I mean, for me, it was like the realization that knowing it's just going to be there tomorrow, like for like the coding thing, like it'll be there tomorrow. I mean, I could stop, right? Like, and having something to do afterwards. And in some cases it would be going to group, or now it's I'm having tutoring lessons, so it's just, I'm trying to find things to do after work that are can occupy my time and aren't bad things, bad habits, I guess, right? Finding that balance, it's hard.
And part of that can be like doing nothing, or being just like calm and content. Not necessarily like doing nothing, but I don't know, just not really having a plan, or not really having expectations. I think I get caught up in a lot of expectations for myself. Like, okay, I'm going to do this and this and this and this. Or like if I do something, I have to do it with full force. Or else it doesn't mean anything, or like I don't know how to explain it really, but I feel like getting into meditation could also help me a lot. So I've been trying these little like YouTube meditation things that Chris showed me. Also, I was in the pool today and I was just like trying to meditate, looking at the sky and the trees, and it was very nice. I think I achieved some kind of calm state. So that the pool definitely helped though.
Awesome.
That's great.
That's me. I can't turn my mind off to meditate. I've never been able to.
So we were talking the other day about 5-minute and even 2-minute ones that I do. Really quickies that actually work. But what you were just saying, Audrey, goes all the way back to your original talk about being in your own thoughts, being able to be in our own thoughts. That's part of this too, as we get to that place where maybe we can stop and not have to do something physical. Maybe we can just be in our own thoughts and be okay with that. That's a really tough place to get to too, because I know my mind's all over the place too. It's really difficult for me to be in my own thoughts, because I go back. My default is that I'm going to fail at whatever it is I'm doing. That's my default. And I'm sorry, but it still is. And anything I attempt is going to result in absolute failure. And, that hasn't changed that much. I got to tell you. I mean, I'm better, but, that's definitely the default. And so sitting in my own thoughts is difficult still. I need to be occupied too, but I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at, like John said, I've come a long way. I can be proud of that. I can be okay with that. And I need to remind myself that I am okay. I've done pretty well. We're here talking about it, right? We're all here talking about it. So, I've survived this thing. I've come back. I'm in a good place. I really am. And I think all of us are really in that sense. Everybody here in that sense is in a really good place. Otherwise, I don't think you guys would be here open and honestly talking about all this if you weren't okay with it. That would be a really hard thing to do. So, I'm proud of all of us for the achievement and being here and bringing the stories to other people. So, it's all possible. All of this is possible. All of the things that we're all talking about and aspiring to are all possibilities. And we know they're there. Excuse me. And we have to take the actions to get a little bit farther down the road. That's all there is to it. And we're all doing it. That's exactly what we're doing. That's pretty cool stuff. So I think I forgot to time it, but I think we're close to the hour. I don't know if anybody else. We are. Okay. So it is time for the lightning gratitude round. And I think since Benny started, you want to start us off with the gratitude?
Yeah, I'm really grateful for this conversation. It's, I really feel the room. This actually kind of really feels like a meeting. I don't know. It feels really expansive. I feel like I'm feeling everyone's thoughts, and we're so natural with each other now. It's cool. It's exciting. Like, yeah. I was hoping we could have recorded like a conversation we had before the podcast, but really it just flowed right in. I think the same rapport flowed in. So, I'm grateful for y'all, and I'm grateful that I'm in New York City, and I got here from Texas. I really wanted to be here so badly. And I don't think about that often enough. Just like thinking about the little accomplishments I did because of sobriety. Like I don't think I would be here without it. So, grateful for that.
Thanks. I'm going to keep going. Boy, girl. Let's see. Audrey.
Back to elementary school. Boy, girl. But yeah, I'm grateful for everyone here. And like Benny said, just the conversation that we had. I think I definitely needed this group. And every time I come out of this group, I just like feel a little bit better and also feel a little bit more informed and less alone. So that's great. And I am grateful for pen and paper and pencils so I can doodle. That's it.
Thanks. Frankie, you are up.
As always, I am grateful for this group. I love my Sundays. I do feel like I can exhale a little bit easier after coming out of this group. I love this podcast. I'm also, as always, grateful for my wonderfully understanding and incredible wife. And this week, I am grateful for Blink Fitness. Blink Fitness in Flatbush will be taking me for $25 a month. I am signed up and I will be on the treadmill motherfucking tomorrow. There is no day like today, but tomorrow sounds good. Blink Fitness, I'm coming.
I was a Blink member when I was in New York. Maybe your turn.
I love it. Man, okay. Yes, I'm very grateful for this discussion. We really flowed, guys. I mean, Chris didn't even have to say, okay, does anybody want to say anything? It was cool. It was really awesome. We're starting to get in the flow of things, and it feels real good. I've really enjoyed this. So yeah, I'm very grateful for this. It was the highlight of my week, and I'm grateful for my family and for all of you.
Thanks, Amy. John, you're up.
I am so grateful that we could vibe as a group the way we do. Like, absolutely amazing. So grateful for that. I mean, everybody's amazing here. Great people. Great group. I mean, I'm just grateful for everybody here. Like to be part of this group and to partake in it, and just having that opportunity I'm just so grateful for it. It's amazing. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my wife, all her love and support, and for just feeling okay today. You know, that's all right. I'm grateful to just be alive and sober and living another day.
Thanks, John. I am, of course, always grateful for all you guys, but especially grateful for Amy being so late tonight, because we wouldn't have had that conversation about Pokemon and whatever. I don't know what we're talking about. Nickelodeon and Powerpuff Girls and Power Rangers and all kinds of nonsense, which was really fun, actually. And we got really loose. It's great. So thanks for that, Amy. We owe you a debt of gratitude. And as always, listen, I'm going to close this out, I guess. Thanks. Thank you, all of you, again, man. What a great night. Really fun. Really insightful. Brilliant, as always. And I'm so grateful to all of you guys. And thanks to our listeners. And I think we're getting some here and there. And if anyone out there has any thoughts they'd like to share about anything you heard tonight, please send a note through one of the various available channels, which are, I think, YouTube, Spotify, Audible, Amazon Music, Odyssey, I think, is one of them. I don't know what that is, but I think we're on it. And we look forward to hearing from you. So once again, thanks everybody for being here tonight. What a great, great hour we spent together. And we'll see you all next week.